Good morning, Sunset Country.
Good morning, Sunset Country.
We're back.
We're back.
It's Friday.
Post-Halloween.
Post-Halloween. How'd you do Halloween?
You know what? I had the most beautiful Halloween I've ever had.
Fantastic.
Stress-free. I was ready with costumes, ready with candy. We went in our neighborhood. The weather was phenomenal. Oh. It was phenomenal. The wind died. It was just a beautiful, beautiful night.
I was flying back, WestJet. They're wonderful. They're all dressed up. It was awesome.
You didn't dress up?
No,
I felt a little bit sad in my heart because I know you really love Halloween and you missed last show.
I did.
Shelley and I dressed up.
Next year.
Next year.
Next year.
There you go.
We have a packed show.
Super packed show.
Yes.
First, we have Teika Newton to talk about the Energy East Pipeline project.
That is interesting. We have Patty Fairfield to talk about the homeless shelter in Kenora. Some great news about that.
And we have Gord Day-Jans to talk about the Trylight Theatre production right here in Kenora.
25 years.
Hello Dolly.
Yes, Hello Dolly. Are you talking to me?
Well, you know, I could be.
Yeah,
do you want to be referred to as Dolly?
No, maybe not.
Okay.
All right, we won't do that.
Let's go right into this show. Let's get the ball rolling.
Okay, we're going to start now.
We're going to start now. When we come back, I'll be here with Teika Newton to talk Energy East Pipeline. Joining us now in the studio is Miss Teika Newton, and she's from Transitions Initiative Kenora, and she's the executive director there. She's here to talk to us a little bit about the Energy East Pipeline. So you've probably heard about it in the media. You've probably heard about it on Facebook, and Teika's here to let us know sort of where that project's at. But maybe we should start with, what is this project, the Energy East Pipeline? What are we talking about here?
Okay, so this is a project that was proposed by TransCanada. They're a company that's probably best known for their natural gas pipelines. In the Kenora area, we have 4 natural gas pipelines that run through the pipeline corridor. So the Energy East project was conceived a few years ago and was proposed, I guess, in 2014. And it was proposed to make better use of the existing natural gas pipeline infrastructure. So at the time, there wasn't as much flowing through the gas pipelines as there had been in the past. And TransCanada saw an opportunity to take one of those lines out of service and convert it to carrying oil. So the project's a 4,600 kilometer proposed retrofit of an existing natural gas pipeline to move crude oil from Hardisty, Alberta to St. John, New Brunswick. So about 3,000 kilometers of that project is a retrofit of gas pipeline, and then the rest of it is new build. So across Quebec and New Brunswick, it would be a new construction. But in our area, it's just the retrofitting of a gas pipeline.
How successful is that to retrofit a natural gas pipe to a crude oil pipe? Do they do that often?
You know, I don't know the statistics on that, how often that happens. The company says that it's perfectly safe, but we do know that in our area, the pipeline was never built with oil in mind.
Right.
So that's actually one of the issues that our organization is looking into. We have intervener status. So the way that pipelines work in Canada, they are reviewed by a national energy regulator, the National Energy Board. And there are opportunities for directly affected groups to participate in that review, either as interveners or commenters. So Transition Initiative Kenora has intervener status, and we'll be going before the National Energy Board during the review period to talk about primarily 3 issues. One is the economic need for the pipeline. We'll also be talking about pipeline safety and integrity, so probing into some of the questions around the construction of the pipeline through our area and whether it is actually suitable for carrying oil instead of natural gas.
Right.
And then the third issue that we're looking at is spill risks and human health risks related to spills and potential contamination of drinking water.
Well, it goes through a large amount of water in our region, does it not?
It really does. It's quite shocking, actually. There's a group out of North Bay that did a really cool video, actually, that's an aerial flyover of the entire province to look at the pipeline corridor. And it's just so striking how once you reach Northwestern Ontario Treaty 3 territory, how it's all water. We really are the people of the water. So yeah, it's quite shocking to see how much water is affected by this pipeline project.
Well, the Energy Board is going through a lot of changes right now
Yeah.
as well, and legislation has changed their role a little bit, has it not?
It has. So the National Energy Board, as I said, is the federal regulator for pipelines and also interprovincial high-power transmission lines, so electricity lines. In 2012, as part of the federal government's omnibus budget bill, the Jobs, Growth and Long-Term Prosperity Act, there were a number of changes made to environmental law in Canada, and this included the National Energy Board Act. So the National Energy Board now has jurisdiction over things like fisheries and navigable waters within pipeline corridors or interprovincial electricity corridors. This has raised some red flags in the environmental community. We're concerned that the level of scrutiny of environmental impacts is just not as rigorous as it once was. There are also concerns about how participation happens. So there's now this screen called the directly affected screen. So the public at large isn't really permitted to participate in pipeline reviews. Only those groups that the National Energy Board indicates are directly affected are now allowed to participate. So again, this is a bit of a challenge to our democratic system. So the federal government, the Trudeau government, earlier this year announced that there would be complete reviews of these 4 critical pieces of environmental legislation, and that's underway. There are also some issues around the Energy East review itself and how the National Energy Board has operated. So there are a number of different conflated issues going on with the National Energy Board.
So the project right now is
The project
on
right now
pause?
is on hold. And the reason for that, so the review had started when the company filed their application in October of 2014. There was a 3-member review panel that was looking at the project application. We found out through an investigative journalist's report, Mike D'Souza at the National Observer discovered that the panel had taken some private meetings with a TransCanada lobbyist, Jean Charest, back in January of 2015, at which they talked about Energy East and special dispensation potentially for the company related to the project review. These are all things that raised some questions around the potential for there to have been bias in the reviewers' assessments of the project. Mm-hmm. And so our organization has legal representation through EcoJustice, which is a federal environmental law charity. Our lawyers filed a notice of motion with the Energy Board asking for recusal of the panelists, the 2 panelists who had taken this meeting with Jean Charest.
and they have since stepped down.
And they have since stepped down. They ended up recusing themselves, and the entire panel stepped down in September. So we're now waiting for the Energy Board to get some new panel members and then to reappoint a review panel for Energy East.
Well, I have a feeling that this is going to be an ongoing conversation as
Yeah.
there's a lot involved, right? And from
It
both
is.
sides, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So thanks for your time today, Teika.
Thanks so much for having me, Deb.
And when we come back, Dave and I will be here, Dave will be here with Patty from the Nietzsche Center to talk about the homeless shelter and its new location.
We're here with Patty Fairfield, the Executive Director, is it?
Yes.
Of the Friendship Center. And we're going to talk about, it's all been in the news, everybody knows about the opening up of the, or moving, I should say, of the shelter, the homeless shelter to the Northwest Health Unit building. So how's that going? Can you give us a little bit of update on that?
Sure. Well, we moved into the health unit basement October 19th. We were supposed to move in on the 1st, but we had some delays due to renovations that are actually still not fully complete.
Okay.
But we had to move then. So we're making it work. They're working in the day on the renovations, and then the patrons come in during the night and sleep, and then they move everything to the middle of the room for the day. And so hopefully by the end of this week, that's my hope.
Now, we had talked about that, and there's some confusion out there still in our community. We've got the place they're going for the evening, your location up at the health unit, but we've still got the fellowship center.
Yes.
Is that correct? So can you just explain the difference between the 2 locations?
Okay, so the fellowship is still continuing to run their daytime programming out of their location on Water Street, and they also have the transitional housing. So none of that has changed. The only change was they gave up the emergency shelter portion that we took over July 1st.
All
So
right.
that's the difference.
And again, just so we confirm everything to the people out there, you took over, not the Northwest Health Unit. You're renting it from there. Who's actually running the location?
So the Nishi Friendship Center, we actually run the emergency shelter, and KDSB is just leasing space from the Northwestern Health Unit to use their basement for the next 2 years.
For the next 2 years. And what's happening after 2 years?
Well, we're currently and actively working on a permanent location. So, that will not be left by the wayside and then scrounging closer to the 2 years when it ends.
Yeah.
So we are actively working on that. And this will not just be an overnight shelter for the long term. It will be an all-encompassing facility. So this will include daytime programming, meals, all of those things in one location.
So the plan is to have it back to what we're used to seeing over at the Fellowship Center.
That's right.
But at another location, which we don't know where that is yet.
We don't, but we know that it needs to be accessible and somewhere in the downtown area. So
Yeah. Now, the downtown area, we did talk about that again. And why is it important that we keep it in the downtown area?
accessibility, definitely. I mean, that's where most of the services and the programs already exist. And it's also a social gathering place for a lot of our patrons as well. So we know, and mobility issues too. So that's why we say it needs to be downtown, it needs to be accessible.
That's fantastic. We had also discussed, you talked about your patrons that come in, and a lot of people believe that a lot of that is the street people, quote unquote, of Kenora. But it's not just the street people.
No.
You explain, who else is using the facilities?
Well, there's a lot of justice, people who are here for court or people who are mandated to stay in Kenora, if they're on probation, different things. So we're seeing a lot of, people in Kenora and using the shelter for that reason. And also medical. People get...
Medical, so they're coming in for medical purposes?
That's right. And sometimes they get stranded here and they don't have the means to get home.
Now, who's working on that means? Does that come through your mandate or your group? Or?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not sure whose mandate it is. I mean, we get a lot of phone calls at the Friendship Center for people asking us, they get stuck here for whatever the reason is and they're trying to get home. And they're asking us, could we help them out with a bus ticket or whatever to get them there? And, back before we took on the emergency shelter, KDSB just funded our street patrol program. And we had some extra dollars where we were able to provide those kind of things. Emergency lodgings for 1 or 2 nights and, bus tickets to get home. But unfortunately now with, the funding has changed. We're not only just doing the street patrol program, we're also, doing the emergency shelter for a certain amount of money. So it restricts now us being able to provide those extra things because the funding we're currently getting from KDSB just funds really our staffing for the shelter and the street patrol program.
All right, and we talked briefly, we're just running out of time here, but I know your staffing is done by what used to be the street patrol.
That's right, our full-time
members will come in. And the construction's underway. Hope to have it done this week. There's going to be showers, facilities for the occupants there.
Yes, which is great. So they'll be able to come in the evening, get in the shower. They'll be given scrubs to wear for the night. We'll wash their clothes, and they'll get up in the morning and get their clean clothes and probably head off to the fellowship for breakfast.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for coming in for the show. You lightened us here. And it's nice to know that the people out there, they've got a place to go. We'll work on something for 2 years down the road.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Fantastic. And next, Gordon Desjans will come back with Trylight Theatre, talk about the production coming up this month.
Thanks for joining us on Good Morning Sunset Country. I feel like we should be singing and dancing right now because Gord Desjans is in the studio to talk to us about the latest Trylight Theatre production, which is Hello Dolly.
Yes, it is.
This is a pretty big deal.
It is. It's our first big cast musical since The Music Man, which was a few years ago.
It was a few years ago. Every single Trylight production I've been to has been amazing.
Well, thank you.
I think that this one's going to be amazing too.
We certainly hope so.
So when did you start? This is a big production. This is a huge musical. It's
It
got
is.
a lot of...
Yeah, when we do big musicals like this, we try and audition early. So we auditioned, I think it was in May.
Yeah.
And then music rehearsals started beginning of September. And then we started stage rehearsals beginning of October. So we've been at it for a few weeks.
Well, lots of hard work is done by your whole crew there. How did you work with all the sets?
Well, sets were a little bit of an issue because there's a lot of different sets. I mean, it starts it starts in Yonkers and then goes to New York City, and then it goes to a feed store, to a hat shop, and then to the Harmonium, which is a restaurant, and then back to the feed store. So that was a little bit of a challenge, but we have added some new. How can I say this? Some new technology to our stage,
Good
which
for
has
you.
facilitated us being able to make these kinds of changes a little easier. So that's been kind of exciting too.
Excellent. Yeah, well, it's nice to, have some challenges along the way
Yes.
too, for greater successes at the end.
Well,
When
we
does
hope.
the show start?
The show starts on the 18th of November. Tickets just went on sale at about 10 after 8 this morning.
Wow.
So
Good.
tickets are now on sale. Our box office is open today from 11:30 till 1, and then through the rest of the week at the same time.
And the box office is located?
Is at the theater space, 510 2nd Street South.
Excellent.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. And how many shows are you doing?
We're doing 9. We normally do 7, but we added a couple to this one because of the nature of it. Lots of cast members, lots of grandma and grandpas and
Nice.
parents and family members that want to see it. So yeah,
Excellent.
we've added a couple.
So from the 18th till the 25th?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part of this musical?
Oh, that's.
Do you have a song you want to sing?
I don't want to sing a song. As a director, I sort of plant myself on stage
Right.
every now and then. So I do actually get to sing with one song, which I'm very
good.
excited about.
Nice.
But there's a lot of songs that are lovely in this one. There's one that happens in the hat shop that Mrs. Malloy sings, and it's called "Ribbons Down My Back." And I think at the moment that's my
Yes,
current
that's your favorite.
After
Excellent.
rehearsal tonight, I might have a different one, but my
Nice.
current favorite is that one.
Excellent. Well, I know this particular musical is 37 years running for Best Musical, I think.
Oh, is that right?
Broadway, yeah. It's huge. And you had mentioned it's going back onto Broadway
They
next
are.
year.
They're restaging it next year. Yeah.
Excellent.
Bette Midler is going to play
Love Bette
Dolly.
Midler.
Yeah. So it should be fun.
Excellent. How much are tickets?
Tickets are $18 for regular tickets. I think it's $15 for seniors, and then we have our couch seats, which have become very, very popular, and we've had to up the prices on those. So they're $25 a ticket. But that includes your cinnamon bun and your refreshment at intermission, and you get
forgot
it
about the
served to
cinnamon
you.
buns.
So you don't even have to go back and get it. They come and they serve it to you. So I think it's worth the $25.
No doubt. Well, like I said, every production I've been to at Trylight is amazing. I have one quick question before we go.
Yes.
Are you going to be doing the children's theater summer camps anymore?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Maybe.
We decided not to do it this past year simply because we didn't have anyone who felt like they could take it over. So there is a possibility that we will add an extra show at some point,
Nice.
and it will always be a kids show.
Good luck with your production. Thank you, Gord, for joining us. When we come back, Dave and I will be talking about what's going on in the region.
That was an awesome interview with Gordon Day-Jantz from Trylight Theatre. Again, Hello Dolly, November the 18th to the 26th. Get your tickets.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good show. It's exciting.
Yes.
So it is that time of year again.
Christmas?
Yep, close to it.
Oh, okay.
But what happens before Christmas, Dave? After Halloween?
Oh,
Remembrance Day.
Remembrance Day's happening, yes.
It's
That's right.
It's the National Poppy Campaign, of course,
Yes.
has begun.
Yep.
And wear your poppy to show support for everybody that has given us the beautiful freedom
That's
that
right.
we have today.
Not just the 11th. Get it now, wear it all week.
Absolutely.
Till next Friday.
And also, it is fall back.
Yes. Spring
Time
forward.
goes back.
Yes.
So, what time, Dave?
Well, at 2 a.m. this is on the 6th, so on Sunday morning at 2 a.m., everybody wake up, jump out of bed, run to your smoke detectors, and change that battery without hearing beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
Or you could do it Saturday night when you go to bed.
It's, of
That
course,
might be easier.
Carbon Monoxide Awareness Week as well. So
That's right.
change your carbon monoxide batteries, the silent killer. You can't
Yeah.
smell it, you can't
That's
taste
right.
it, you can't see it. Change your batteries this time every year,
That's right. Any smoke detectors?
and your smoke detectors.
Change them. That's right. Or the fire department will be on your case. 2
you
o'clock
go.
in the morning, 2 a.m. Everybody be there.
We have a few things going on in the region.
Yes, we do.
It's a busy weekend.
It's a very busy weekend.
It's a good weekend to be here. Friday, November 4th. I want to say, what's 1930? At 1930.
Oh, come on.
You're a
7:30.
police officer.
7:30.
7:30. Sorry,
right.
my bad. Well, at the Knox United Church, there's the Eastern Bells performing, and this is a vocal group with stunning voices, powerful, stunning voices.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And also on Saturday, November the 5th in Kenora, there's a Remembrance Day tea,
Nice.
and that is at the ballroom at the Kenora Legion. So show up there. It's between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Remembrance tea.
Nice. Dryden has a lot of events going on
Yes, they do.
this weekend. On Saturday at 10:30 a.m. at the First Baptist Church, there is Sunshine Saturday. And it says, don't miss our fun-free science event, 10:30 to noon in Dryden.
Science event in Dryden.
First Baptist Church.
That's right. And at the First United Church, a fall and tea bazaar, what's being held at the Agricultural Fair in Dryden. And it's on Saturday, November 5th between, let me make sure of the time, 1:30 and 3:30. There's adults $5, children $3 admission.
Beautiful. Here's my favorite.
Oh.
Pancake breakfast.
Yes.
We might have to drive to Dryden for it, though.
We'll do a show.
Sunday, November 6th.
We'll do a show eating
We could
pancakes.
do a pancake show, 9 a.m. The Dryden Go-Getters. Come and join the Dryden Go-Getters Pancake Breakfast.
That is-
Sausages, fruit, juices, teas, lots of yumminess. Where is this being taken place?
You know what?
Oh, Dryden Seniors
There
Group.
we are. The Dryden Seniors Group. There we go. Fantastic.
Excellent. Well,
I
that
wonder
was a
what's-
jam-packed show.
That was.
It was
full.
amazing.
That was awesome.
Lots of info this week.
There was all kinds of info. Thank you to all of our guests for showing
Thanks
up.
to all of our guests.
Yep.
Wealth of information.
All kinds of stuff.
All kinds of
Kind
stuff.
of neat. And we are going to get ready for Remembrance Day coming up next Friday.
Absolutely.
Next Friday. Don't ever get your poppies, everybody. Please get your poppies. All right.
Excellent. Well, we had a fantastic show today, and we want to thank all of our beautiful guests.
We did.
And you can always get a hold of us at Good Morning Sunset Country on Facebook.
Yes. On Facebook.
You know?
Yep.
Tell us what you think about the Energy East Pipeline project.
Yes.
Sort of where it's at, where it's going.
Yep.
Give us some insight on your advice and ideas.
What you think
and
about the information you learned about the shelter?
the information
people
about the
didn't know.
shelter? Exactly.
And buy your tickets for Trylight Theatre, Hello Dolly.
Excellent. We hope that you have a beautiful weekend, and we will see you again next week.
Yep. See you then.
Clothing for Good Morning Sunset Country host Deb Cruikshank is generously provided by Sure Thing. Life is good at Sure Thing. Clothing for host Dave Cain is generously provided by Lincoln Pin at 117 Main Street South in Kenora.